Hello, I'm Philip Sneller. Welcome to Window on the Word. Today we turn together to John chapter 6. After these things, Jesus went away to the other side of the Sea of Galilee, or Tiberias. And a large crowd was following him because they were observing the signs that he performed for those who were sick. And Jesus went up on the mountain, and there he sat down with his disciples. Now the Passover was near, the feast of the Jews. Then when Jesus lifted his eyes and saw that a large crowd was coming to him, he said to Philip, "Where might we buy bread so that they may eat?" Now he was saying this to test him, for he knew what he was about to do. Philip answered him, 200 denarii worth of bread would not buy enough so that each of them might receive a small piece. One of his disciples, Andrew, Simon Peter's brother, said to him, "There is a child here who has 5 barley loaves and 2 fish. But what are these for so many?" Jesus said, "Make the people recline to eat." Now there was much grass in the place, so they reclined. The number of the men was about 5,000. Then Jesus took the bread, and when he had given thanks, he gave it to those who were reclining, likewise also the fish, as much as they wanted. And when they were satisfied, he said to his disciples, "Gather the leftover fragments so that nothing may be lost." So they gathered and filled 12 baskets of fragments with the 5 loaves of barley bread that were left over by those who had eaten. Now, when the people had seen the sign that he had performed, they were saying, "This is truly the prophet who is coming into the world." Jesus, therefore, perceiving that they were about to come and drag him away to make him king, withdrew again to the mountain by himself. And when evening had come, his disciples went down to the sea, and when they got into a boat, they began going to the other side of the sea, to Capernaum. And it had already become dark, and Jesus had not yet come to them. And the sea was being stirred up because a strong wind was blowing. Then when they had rowed about 3 or 4 miles, they saw Jesus walking on the sea, and he was coming near the boat, and they were frightened. But he said to them, "It is I. Do not be afraid." Then they were willing to receive him into the boat, and immediately the boat came to the land to which they were going. The next day the crowd that had stood on the other side of the sea saw that there was no other boat there except one, and that Jesus had not entered with his disciples into the boat, but his disciples had departed alone. Other boats came from Tiberias near the place where they ate the bread after the Lord had given thanks. So when the crowd saw that neither Jesus was there nor his disciples, they embarked in boats and came to Capernaum searching for Jesus. And when they found him on the other side of the sea, they said to him, "Rabbi, when did you come here?" Jesus replied to them and said, "Truly, truly, I say to you, you do not seek me because you saw signs, but because you ate of the bread and were filled. Do not labor for the bread that perishes, but the bread that remains to eternal life, which the Son of Man will give you, for on him God the Father has set his seal." So they said to him, "What must we do so that we may be doing the works of God?" Jesus answered and said to them, "This is the work of God, that you believe in the one whom he has sent." Then they said to him, "So what sign do you do that we may see and believe? What are you doing? Our fathers ate manna in the wilderness, just as it is written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat." Then Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is the one who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world." Then they said to him, "Lord, always give us this bread." Jesus said to them, "I am the bread of life. The one who comes to me will not be hungry, and the one who believes in me will never be thirsty. But I said to you that indeed you have seen me, and you do not believe. Everyone whom the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will not cast out, because I have come down from heaven not to do my will, but the will of the one who sent me. And this is the will of the one who sent me, that I do not lose any of those whom he has given me, but that I might raise him on the last day. For this is the will of my Father, that all who see the Son and believe him might have eternal life, and I will raise him at the last day." Therefore the Jews began to grumble about him, because he said, "I am the bread that has come down from heaven." And they were saying, "Is this not Jesus, the son of Joseph, whose father and mother we know? How does he now say, 'I have come down from heaven'?" Jesus answered and said to them, "Do not grumble among yourselves. No one is able to come to me unless the Father who sent me draws him, and I will raise him on the last day. It is written in the prophets, and they will all be taught by God. Everyone who has heard and learned from the Father comes to me. Not that anyone has seen the Father except the one who is from God. He has seen the Father. Truly, truly, I say to you, the one who believes has eternal life. I am the bread of life. Your fathers ate the manna in the wilderness, and they died. This is the bread that has come down from heaven, so that anyone may eat it and not die. I am the living bread that has come down from heaven. If anyone eats of this bread, he will live forever. And the bread that I will give for the life of the world is my flesh." Then the Jews were disputing among themselves, saying, "How is he able to give us his flesh to eat?" So Jesus said to them, "Truly, truly, I say to you, unless you eat the flesh of the Son of Man and drink his blood, you do not have life in yourselves. The one who eats my flesh and drinks my blood has eternal life, and I will raise him on the last day. For my flesh is true food, and my blood is true drink. The one who eats my flesh and drinks my blood remains in me, and I in him. Just as the living Father sent me, and I live because of the Father, also the one who eats me will live because of me. This is the bread that has come down from heaven. Not as your fathers ate and died, the one who eats this bread will live forever." These things he said in the synagogue while teaching in Capernaum. Therefore, when many of his disciples heard this, they said, "This is a hard saying. Who is able to understand it?" And Jesus, knowing in himself that his disciples were grumbling about this, said to them, "Does this offend you? Then what if you were to observe the Son of Man ascending where he was before? It is the Spirit that gives life. The flesh is of no value. The words that I have spoken to you are spirit and life. But there are some of you who do not believe." For Jesus had known from the beginning who did not believe, and the one who would betray him. And he was saying, "For this reason I have said to you that no one is able to come to me unless it has been granted to him by the Father." Because of this, many of his disciples went away and were no longer following him. So Jesus said to the 12, "Do you also desire to go away?" Simon Peter answered him, "Lord, to whom shall we go? You have the words of eternal life, and we have believed, and we have come to know that you are the Son of God." Jesus answered them, "Did I not choose you, the 12? And one of you is a devil." Now he was speaking of Judas, son of Simon Iscariot, for he was about to betray him, one of the 12. Thank you for listening. To God be the glory.